Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to second day of our two-day workshop on business communication, online mode, and interview skills, presentation skills organized by Department of Humanities, University of Engineering and Management, Jaipur. I welcome our guests, Professor Dr. Vandana Sharma and Ms. Soanali Mishra. Dr. Vandana Sharma is certified trainer of BBC Liquid e-learning, and Ms. Soanali Mishra is founder of Anhad community, which is an online platform, freelancer and trainer of soft skills. As we witnessed, yesterday's session was really fruitful. Madam Vandana Sharma has given us a great insight of what interviewers and interviewees should have in mind during the interview. As the process of selection and being selected goes on, what one should have in their mind, what kind of responses should we give. Without further ado, as we have a little bit of time and we have too much to cover, and it's only 2 hours, as it felt like yesterday also, it felt that the time was really less for ma'am's knowledge. So let's begin without further ado. And I give it and the speaker to our Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Dr. Satyajit Biswajoy Chatterjee. Sir, please take over.
Thank you so much, Neha Madam. Yes, it's an honor that Madam has again agreed to come today, and she will be continuing with the session. Thank you, Vandana Madam. Thank you, Soanali Madam. Students were thoroughly engaged yesterday, and I'm sure students will also be engaged today. And today you'll be showing the videos also. There will be a lot of polls, question answers. So I request all the students to kindly ask all your questions in the questions box, and Madam will definitely answer those. Uh, Thank you so much. I should not talk more. It's all over to you, madam. As she has already said, time is short. So I make you the presenter. You may kindly share your screen.
Yeah. Yes. Is my screen visible to everybody?
Your screen is visible to everybody, but other people may
Okay.
also write in the questions box whether it is visible or not. Other
Okay.
members. Okay, somebody. Okay, yes, yes, yes. There are many yes in the questions box. So yes, madam, it is
Okay.
visible.
That's great.
Okay,
That's great.
thank.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much, University of Engineering and Management. Yesterday we had a session on interview skills, and today we are going to we'll share and discuss something related to presentation skills. Now, as when a few minutes back, this thought, came to my mind that once you have qualified and once you have crossed the stage of interview, you get a job and you join the company. And once you have joined the company, you are definitely going to deliver a lot of presentations. It's not only that when you join a company or you become an employee that you have to make presentations, but yes, as a student also you're required to make a lot of presentations, right? So before I take up rest of the things, let us first watch this video and see what is it that we are going to do in the rest of the duration, the rest of the time. So I would be sharing this video, and I want, as said yesterday, I want all of you to look at the video very carefully, and we may have certain questions, your observations towards the end. I think yes. Uh, how is it?
You
Okay.
need to press the start button,
Yeah.
madam.
Yeah. I did, but uh, Just a minute, just a minute. There's something.
I'm just trying it. I'm opening it. Just allow me.
I somehow it got lost, you know.
Okay. Let me see.
Not a long time ago, there was this famous survey which concluded that most people fear public speaking more than they fear death. The American comedian Jerry Seinfeld summed up the statistic brilliantly when he said, "So, for the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy." That's funny, right? Wrong. Speaking to an audience is something 2 out of 3 people will do in their professional careers. So, which person are you? Would you rather be the one in the casket or the one delivering the eulogy? The important thing to remember is that a presentation is a performance that needs an artist to wow the audience. So come along now, pay attention, and take your first steps to becoming a presentation ninja.
I believe you got the idea what is the purpose of showing this video. Can I have from the audience, participants?
Actually, madam, audience cannot speak unless I unmute them. So
Okay. Can I
actually, if
have
I
the
unmute
responses in the
everybody
chat
there, but
box?
they are giving like they are showing visible and audible, and then
Right.
is it visible? Yes,
Have they
madam.
watched the
Answer.
video? Have they watched the video?
Yes, yes, madam. Many people are writing yes, madam. Vishal Kumar,
Okay.
Aritra De, Arnob Basu, Shubhajit Maiti. Everybody has written yes, madam.
Okay, that's brilliant. So this gives us an idea what is it that we are going to do, and why do we want to do presentation, right? Why do we have to learn this skill or art of delivering presentations? Because this is a skill, it is an art which needs training, which needs learning, which needs a lot of practice, right? And in the so gradually when you, as a student also, when you are studying, you have to make a lot of presentations, and I believe by now also you have delivered a lot of presentations in your first year, second year, and whatever year you are. uh, Academic presentations that you have made, project presentations that you have made, so you must have understood that there's a lot of, one has to do a lot of exercise, one has to do a lot of, efforts in making and delivering, in finally delivering a presentation. Because for delivering a presentation, you are required to collect information, put it into an order, and then use some medium to deliver it. So if we look at the presentation per se, we'll see that it has got various stages. Um, and To start with, the first stage that comes in mind is of planning. What is it that you want to deliver in your presentation? Then you start making the presentation, that is preparing the presentation, and finally you deliver the presentation. Broadly classified, there are 3 stages of presentation: planning, preparing, and delivering, right? So the entire game is played around these 3 stages of presentation. Okay. So now, after reading this, after watching this video, you must have understood that even across the world, the toughest thing that people find is to speak in front of the public, right? They may find it easy to read eulogy, but they may find it difficult to do that, and to to read obituary, to read for the person who has passed away. But to speak in front of the public, in front of a huge gathering, even if you may say to a number of 20 people, people find it very difficult, and it is not the fear which is there in confined to a particular geographical boundary, but it is across the world, and it is with everybody. Even the good speakers, if you look at them, and yesterday we talked about Manoj Vasudevan. Now, Manoj Vasudevan, he also picked up this skill after a lot of practice and speaking in front of public on various occasions. So this is something that requires, so you can understand that this is something, this whole idea concept of delivering a presentation, it requires a great amount of training, great amount of practice, and then finally you make an impact over the people. So, so how are we? How is this journey? Let us move on to this journey of becoming a presentation ninja. Ninja is a warrior, as you can see. You know it very well. So, if you want to become a warrior, you know, a presentation warrior, you have to go through all those skills and all those stages, all those steps, which we are going to discuss in the coming slides. So I'll take up the next, move on to the next slide, which talks about giving effective presentations. Now it's only the purpose is not only to prepare, to plan, prepare, and deliver a presentation. It should have an impact over people. It should be very, very effective. The purpose behind this, what is the purpose of making a presentation before the people? There must be some reason, as we have a reason to learn presentation skills. Similarly, when you are making a presentation in front of the people, there is a reason of, doing that exercise to that people, to that particular set of people. So we see there's the we have got the poll, the first question, which answers where we need to answer the question, and answer the question in the sense that we have to understand, out of three options, which do you think is the best option? Can we have the poll, please, sir? Excuse me. Yeah, yeah.
Poll.
The
So
first poll, yeah.
I request all
First
to
question.
quickly vote.
The first question of the poll is, what is the purpose of delivering a presentation? You have got three options, and out of three options, you have to choose one. First is to communicate, second is to impress, and third is to persuade. So which do you think could be the most closest and most correct, appropriate option for this statement?
Okay, so around almost 50% votes are there, but I request others to quickly answer.
You just have to choose the alphabet, A, B, or C, whatever you want to pick.
Yes, just choose the option. Okay, so I think it is around almost 60% votes. So
Okay.
I close it over here, madam, and I
Right.
just should I share the results now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the results say 69% to communicate, 11% to impress, and 20% to persuade.
Okay. Well, I just like interviews, presentation is also communication. I think so. You guys picked up the idea from there that presentation is a communication. Definitely, it is a communication, but more than that, it is persuasion. Right. So we not only communicate, but there is a very valid, very strong reason that why do we make a presentation to people? We want them to persuade. We inform them, we educate them, but we want them to take some action ultimately. There is an objective when you are delivering a presentation. A presentation could be, as you saw in the video, it is basically a performance. When you do a product presentation or demonstration is also a presentation. When you are delivering a speech, that is also a presentation. When you are explaining your chart or poster that you have created during any of the science exhibitions or any of the contest, that is also a presentation. So you want to convince, you want to persuade people to buy your idea. So communicate to an extent is a correct answer, but the most appropriate answer is to persuade. Thank you so much, participants, for participating in that. But we would appreciate if we have more number of students joining in answering these poll questions. So, as I said, we have to train ourselves, we have to groom ourselves in the direction of making effective presentations. Now, what is it? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to pick up? What are the skills that we are required to pick up in order to make our delivery right from the beginning? Planning, preparing, and delivery. This is something, this reminds me of, a very interesting analogy that we say a Bollywood style of filmmaking and Hollywood style of filmmaking. Hollywood people, now the trend has changed in India also in Bollywood industry. But in Hollywood industry, the people they used to, for making a movie on any project, any theme, any subject, they used to research for almost 5 years, 6 years. And then in 5 months or 10 months, they used to shot the movie. Right, the entire shooting would happen in 5 to 10 months. But reverse to this is something that used to happen in India earlier. Bollywood style of filmmaking. They used to shoot for years and they had a very weak, or you can say a very average research based, project or study. So I now, this distinction is somewhat has got, diminished, but still there is, they do a lot of, which is why we like, a lot of Hollywood movies, for the simple reason that they put in a lot of hard work and research. So if you're planning and preparation, definitely the delivery has its own part to play, but if your planning and preparation are very, very emphatic, very, very strong, and they stand on some pillars, they have got a very strong base, definitely the delivery is going to be very, very effective, right? So we need to understand that we have been doing presentations great. That is something wonderful that we have been doing. But we need to understand that the presentations from now onwards, all our presentations are going to be effective, impactful, and impeccable, right? So keeping this view in mind, let us proceed further and see what is there in the next slide. The next slide talks about the process of presentation. Now, when we say process of presentation, what is it? What do we mean by that? The process of presentation, let me, for this understanding the process of presentation broadly, well, when I said it, the presentation can be categorized into 3 stages: planning, preparing, and delivering. So we can have further division in order to make it more systematic and do it in a more organized manner. Let us have understand each stage in detail. So the first one is decide on the title and the aim. Now, whatever either you are given, if you talk about your academic presentations, you have both the options, choice. Either you get the topic from your faculty mentor, or you decide the topic on your own. The team decides, the group decides, the class decides, whatever it is. And then what is the purpose of delivering that particular, choosing a particular topic? If you are given a topic, then you have to design your aim and what will be the, whatever the title that you want to choose, and what will be the aim, the purpose, the objective behind this, delivering this presentation, making this presentation to a particular audience. Now it varies from situation to situation. As as a student, definitely your presentation would be a set of students, to your faculty members, or to examiners, to the, or maybe if you are participating some event, you are going to make the presentation to some outside audience. Or if you are going for some sponsorship to different companies, organizations, then you are going to make a presentation to those people, right? So you have to think of it. So there's a situation, could be either you are given the topic or you choose the topic on your own. So that it could be both the ways. Now the second thing is, which is actually these are used interchangeably. First of all, you decide, you see your audience. Who is going to be your audience? To whom, who will be the people whom you're going to deliver your presentation? It is very, very vital, very, very important to understand the audience, to know about the audience. We'll take up this in the further slides, where we have each is category is discussed in detail. The third is decide upon the structure and aims. Now, once you have the topic in mind, you know the audience, Then you start collecting the information and you try to put it in a certain structure. After that structure, because the presentation has to be according to a time limit. Every presentation has got a time limit starting from 10 minutes. If it is a snap presentation, it could be of 3 minutes, or it can go on to for a lengthy presentation, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, and so on, depending upon the situation. And then along with the structure, you decide upon the aid, the tool that you're going to use, the medium that you're going to use to deliver your presentation, which is as good as using a paper, a piece of paper where you have the written text content there and you talk to the audience, going up to a very heavily designed graphic uh, presentations. It could be PowerPoint, Prezi, Picha Kucha, Canva. There are a lot of presentation tools which are there, and people are using a lot of. Now we have Google Slides also. A lot of presentation tools available, online, offline as well. So another. Then the next is preparing the script and rehearsal. Now, preparing the script, once you have collated the information, the next job is to identifying the tool and then preparing the entire script, because you're going to speak for 10 minutes. Your presentation is going to be of 15 minutes. Now, in 15 minutes, how long you're going to speak? Do you have any demonstration also? So all that has to be structured, or everything has to be, and accordingly, the script is to be written, designed, and developed. And next comes after the script is the rehearsal. The rehearsal that you're going to, the practice makes a man perfect. Ernest Ebbinghaus, a psychologist, he believed that the more you practice, the better you become. And then you deliver a talk, right? So if you look at the how are they, classified into, they are put very nicely put under three categories: planning, preparing, and delivering. So when you deliver, what is it that you are required to take care of? We'll talk about that in detail. And handling the questions towards the end. As we have had in the presentation yesterday also, towards the end, we had a lot of queries and we try to discuss, took the questions one by one. So this is basically the structure, or if you look at the process or of presentation. So if you have all these things when you are learning presentation, when you are thinking of making a presentation, you have to, if you have all these stages, under planning, preparing, and delivering. If you have all these stages, definitely you'll be moving in a correct direction, in the right direction, right? So keep all these things in mind when you are preparing a presentation, when you're rather working on a presentation. Now, everybody knows who is this man. He's been a wonderful, technocrat who's brought a great revolution in the IT industry, not in the IT industry, but in the lives of we human beings. And we all, whatever we are doing and whatever we see working on the medium that we are using, the platform here, a lot of credit goes to this gentleman. So we are going to watch a video of Steve Jobs, and I would appreciate if all of us take note of everything that we watch in this video, because we have a lot of the entire discussion basically is based on this video. It would be great if you take note of the points, the things that are shared in this video. So can we have this video? Sir, would you be doing it?
Yes, I'm doing it, madam. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Anyone who has watched a Steve Jobs keynote will tell you he is one of the most extraordinary speakers in corporate America.
Who does the best job of that in the world?
While most presenters simply convey information, Jobs inspires. I'm Carmine Gallo, and today I'll walk you through several key techniques that Steve Jobs uses to electrify his audience. They're elements you can adopt in your very next presentation.
Welcome to Macworld 2008. We've got some great stuff for you. There's clearly something in the air today.
With those words, Jobs opened Macworld 2008, setting the theme for his presentation and hinting at the major announcement of the day, the launch of the ultra-thin MacBook Air. Whether it's a new notebook or the iPhone, Jobs unveils a single headline that sets the theme.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Once you identify a theme, make sure it's clear and consistent throughout the presentation. Think of a staff meeting as a presentation. So let's say you're a sales manager introducing a new software tool to help your team generate, track, and share sales leads. You might kick off your meeting this way. Good morning. Thanks for coming. I know you'll be really excited about this. Today we make it easier for you to make your quota. That's the headline. Easier to make quota. It's memorable, and it sets the direction for the rest of your meeting. It gives your audience a reason to listen.
So I've got 4 things I'd like to talk about with you today. So let's get started.
Steve Jobs always provides an outline for his presentation and then verbally opens and closes each section with a clear transition in between. Here's an example.
So that's Time Capsule, a perfect companion to Leopard, and that's the first thing I wanted to share with you this morning.
The point is, make it easy for your listeners to follow your story. Your outline will serve as guideposts along the way. You'll also notice that during his presentations, Jobs uses words like extraordinary, amazing, and cool. He is passionate, enthusiastic, and it shows.
Incredible, unbelievable, amazing, awesome, extraordinary year for Apple.
You know, your audience wants to be wowed, not put to sleep. Too many people fall into this presentation mode. It's stiff, it's formal, it lacks pizzazz. We, your listeners, are giving you permission to have fun and to be excited about your company, your product, or your service. If you're not passionate about it, we're not going to be. Remember, Jobs isn't selling hardware. He's selling an experience. If you offer numbers and statistics, make them meaningful.
We have sold 4 million iPhones to date. If you divide 4 million by 200 days, that's 20,000 iPhones every day on average.
Numbers don't mean much unless they're placed in context. Managers, connect the dots for your listeners. Recently, I worked with a company that launched a 12-gigabyte memory card. 12 gigabytes! That number doesn't mean much to most people, so we put it into context. We said that's enough memory to listen to your music while traveling to the moon and back. Now, 12 gigs means something to me. Make numbers meaningful. One of the most effective elements of a Steve Jobs presentation is that they are easy on the eyes. His presentations are visual and simple. While most speakers fill their slides with mind-numbing data and text and charts, Jobs does just the opposite. He uses very little text and usually 1, maybe 2 images per slide. You see, you want to paint a picture for your audience without overwhelming them. Inspiring presentations are short on bullet points and big on visuals. If you really want your presentation to pop, treat it like a show with ebbs and flows, themes, and transitions. Jobs includes video clips, demonstrations, and guests. He also has a knack for dramatic flair, and it's very effective. For example, when introducing the MacBook Air, Jobs drew cheers by opening a manila interoffice envelope and holding the laptop out for everyone to see.
This is the new MacBook Air, and you can get a feel for how thin it is.
What is the one memorable moment of your presentation? Identify it ahead of time, then build up to it.
With a little help from our friends, everything will work today.
And finally, rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse some more.
Let me show you how easy that is now.
Steve Jobs makes it look easy because he spends hours rehearsing. He cannot pull off an intricate presentation with video clips and demonstrations and outside speakers without practice. The result, a presentation that is perfectly synchronized and looks, yes, effortless. Now, the average business person does not have the resources to create a Steve Jobs extravaganza, but you do have time to rehearse. The greatest presenters do it, and so should you. Oh, and one more thing. At the end of most presentations, Jobs adds to the drama by saying, and one more thing.
One last thing.
He then adds a new product or a feature, sometimes just introduces a band. This not only heightens the excitement, it also leaves your audience feeling they've been given an added bonus. The point is, Steve Jobs approaches each presentation as an event, a production with a strong opening, product demonstrations in the middle, and a strong conclusion. And yes, even an encore, that one more thing. I wish you a dazzling presentation.
For more information, go to bnet.com.
Yeah, can we have the second poll question related to this video?
Surely, madam, surely. So the second one is, what are the opening and concluding statements? I will just go through that.
Yeah. What are the opening and concluding statements from the Steve Jobs video?
Okay, so it's
First-
already on. I request all members to vote. All attendees kindly vote. So I'm waiting for the votes. It's around 45% votes are already there. So I'm sure there will be a lot of votes, 40%. Okay, so it's roughly 55% now.
Okay.
Okay, just waiting for maybe 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
Because sometimes these polls reach a bit late in the mobile phones. So
Okay.
sometimes we have to give a little bit of more time.
Okay.
So yeah, it's around 60% crossed now, 65% almost. So I think we can close over here and share the results. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so closing it, and I share the results. And the
Mm-hmm.
results say 45% provide the outline and demonstrate, and 17% set the theme and provide the outline, and 38% set the theme and rehearse.
I believe people had not listened to it, or even they haven't read these question statement. The statement says what are the opening and concluding statements. So what should be the opening and concluding? If we look at the all the three options, don't you think that the third one is the seems to be better? Set the theme and rehearse. It is towards the end he said that one has to. He used to do lot of rehearsals, and it was written thrice: rehearse. So it's a little check, that those who are watching this, all those who are attending the session, which is why I say please watch the video very carefully. Right now, again, can we close this, sir? Can we close this poll?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, quickly, now this, if you had those who had watched this video carefully, they must have come across a lot of things, right from the beginning till the end, right from making the presentation. Okay, it was not discussed, the script part was not discussed. How was the presentation made? Yes, it was discussed, the way the visuals were shared and all that. Quickly, I would appreciate if people can share in the chat box whatever they can remember from the video, or what is it that they found very impactful, impressive, or very you know, what to say, creative about the presentation, or they just watch about Steve Jobs. Any striking feature of the presentation? Definitely, it was anchored by Steve Jobs. So, what is it that people noticed? Anything striking, fascinating, impressive about the presentation? It was a presentation. It would be great if people can mention in the chat box.
People are writing, madam, in the
Mhm.
questions box. I can assign you. You can kindly see if you
Yeah, yeah,
kindly
great,
see the
great.
things.
That would be great.
I have assigned
Vandana,
it
can
to you.
I interrupt you one for a
Yes.
minute?
Yeah, yeah. What is it?
It's I think Dr. Anirudh Mukherjee. He is the Dean Academics. He has just joined in,
Okay.
and we could welcome him and maybe have a little word from his side as well, if it
Sure,
is okay
sure.
with the other panelists.
Yeah, yeah. Professor Anirudh.
Yeah, Dr. Anirudh Mukherjee. He is the Dean Academics. I just
Okay,
got that.
okay. Great, sir. You are welcome to the session on presentation skills.
I think I have assigned you the question, the answers.
Uh-huh.
3 answers I have assigned you. You may kindly
Okay.
have a look at those answers, madam. Now, there's a 4th answer. I'm just finding out because there are a lot of chats going on in the chat
Okay.
box. Continuous
Okay.
questions are there, madam. There are a lot of questions for you already. So I'm actually
Okay.
finding out the answers within those.
Okay.
So I
Just
have
one or two
assigned you.
statements. Just one or two
I,
statements.
I have assigned you 6 answers. I have assigned you till now, but I am just reading those out for you to
Okay. Okay.
quickly see. Otherwise, you can also find in the questions box. The
Right.
enthusiastic body language also inspires the audience. That is what
Absolutely.
Monami
Absolutely.
Chaudhary says.
Right.
Sahini she says the demo showed by him is really impressive and gives an interest to watch the presentation further.
Mm-hmm.
Pratik
Mm-hmm.
Agarwal says his confidence and interaction were inspiring.
Interactive.
His
I
interactive.
can see that. I can see that. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And Tanisha Bishwas says his impactful
Impressive.
voice, something in the air, and the theme he
Okay.
provided to attract people over his job. Later on, I can only hear that. Okay.
Right. 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 Right.
And
Okay.
another answer is there, presence of mind. From Aditro, they says presence of
Mhm.
mind. And the previous answer was given by Tanisha Bishwa.
Okay, great, great, wonderful. So this gives me an idea that people are quite attentive and enjoying the session, right? Okay, thank you so
There are
much, sir.
few more answers. There are few more
Okay,
answers.
let's
Like
take up.
Medha Bhattacharya is saying minimal amount of writing and his body language is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. So if you
Logra,
had watched this video, you would have come to know that there are a lot of things that one has to take care of. Body language has a role to play, visuals have a role to play, and then you can do, a lot of, experimentation, innovation when it comes to statistics, sharing figures and talking about factual statements and all that. So these are the things, that we have to be so it makes us understand that when you are thinking of making a presentation, preparing and all that, that requires a great amount of work, right? And once you are trained and tuned to do in a certain manner, is my screen visible to all?
yes, it is visible to all.
I
I-
think this,
Yeah, it is
okay,
visible. Many people are writing. Yes, it is visible.
right, okay, great, great. So now so this gives us an idea that can we somewhere become great presenters like Steve Jobs? Definitely, Steve Jobs was a Steve Jobs. So there could be people, we can pick up certain skills. We may be good presenters. We may work upon, and provided we start working on that and we make it a point. Yes, we are going to work in this manner, and this is how we are going to gather the information. So we Yes. So we begin with this. The first thing that we started talking about was deciding upon the topic and the purpose. Now, if you know that your audience is going to be a set of students, maybe of your class, same batch, then you have to see, you have to collect the information. You have to gather the information which has to be according to the level of your student. The topic or the subject, the theme that you choose for your presentation, that has to be very, very apt, relevant, interesting, contemporary, so that people are able to identify with the topic, are able to relate themselves with the topic. If you talk about engineering, you can pick up anything from your subject that you're already doing. But now the skill lies in how to make it an interesting, how to make it. It is a usual regular topic, but how do you make it interesting? That is up to you. A lot depends on what medium you choose for your presentation. So a regular topic, a usual topic, but you're using some different medium. It can be some innovative, it can be a product demonstration, you make a chart, or you create a PowerPoint, or you use any online platform for your presentation. So this is how you can make your topic very relevant and interesting. Relevant, which is happening around you, which is there, which has got a direct contact with people. People are directly, that topic or that subject theme is directly related to people's life, or something that you are already studying. So you can pick up something from your academics, or you can something from the environment. You can pick up something from your own, something which is happening in your country, something that is happening at national level. It can be related to economy, it can be related to trade relations, it can be related to what is happening all around us. Anything that you want to pick up. So if you have a choice, then you have to do a lot of study in deciding upon the topic, that what it is directly related to your purpose. What is the purpose of making a presentation? If you're using some usual topic, definitely people know about it. So you don't have to inform people about the topic. You don't have to, as such, educate people. But yes, there's something new that has come up, new study, new research has happened. So you can talk about that. If you talk about, related to your subject, let us take computer engineering. Now, in computer engineering, what is it that you want to talk? What topic you want to choose for your presentation? So, whatever topic you choose, you have to see that is directly related to your audience. And then, so so your entire presentation has to happen in a manner that people are able to understand the entire presentation, and at the same time it sounds interesting to them. The people enjoy listening and watching. There has to be an element of humor also. How do you make it interesting? So people should enjoy listening to the presentation. Your purpose could be to inform. Some new technology has come and you wanted to inform people. For example, when Blu-ray disc had come, people talked about that. Fuzzy logic, when it came into first time into our lives, so people talked about that. So what is it that you are sharing with the people? People have not heard about it, so you are just informing the people. So when you talk, so this could be one of your purpose. The other purpose could be persuade. Now, out of many presentations, you want people to buy your idea. There are a lot of presentations given, when especially when people give presentations, business proposals to various um, uh, you know venture capitalists, uh, mm, to such people, those who finance the project. So when they are making a presentation, different people, they make different presentations. So why is it every team, every group, every team tries to somehow tries to persuade the party, the people to whom they are making a presentation, and they want to make them believe that ours is the best, ours is the most economical, ours is the most relatable topic, proposal. So it's a kind of persuading people, trying to convince them to buy their idea, to invest in their business proposal. The next could be educating people. Now people have some knowledge about the uh, technology. People do not have much idea about social media. When LinkedIn came, still people do not have much idea. I personally, if I talk of myself, I do not know about very many features of LinkedIn. So today I know I have my account on LinkedIn. But if somebody tells me, if somebody educates me, if whatever I have existing knowledge I have, but I want to have additional knowledge. So that is, educating people on that. You can deliver a very fantastic, a very which covers everything. A lot of has a wide coverage. Your presentation on LinkedIn, you, you are educating people how to have a very impressive profile on LinkedIn. So it's not informing, but it is educating people. So your presentation that you choose, you have to whatever topic you first you have to decide upon the topic and then think on the purpose. What is your purpose? Is it to educate, inform, persuade, entertain? What is your purpose? Right? If, when you go to a theater or a film, what is the purpose of that film? Is to entertain, right? So, if the film which got the which there are a lot of movies, but out of many movies, it's only one movie that gets 5-star rating. Why? Because people that has got very high entertainment value. So anything that you see around us, anything can be. Even we can when we are in an interview, we present ourselves, right? And how best we do out of 100 people, why is it only 5 people are picked up? Because right from the beginning, everything was fantastic. So second thing that comes, because whatever you have decided, topic you have chosen, purpose, you'll be doing everything by keeping in mind your audience, right? So if it is your students, definitely they are of your level. They could be of your class, or they may belong to some other institution. They could be your seniors, they could be your juniors, but they are your institution students. So now you have to understand the level of the students. What is it that you have to take care of when you are trying to know your audience? Because the ultimately the presentation is going to be for somebody, some living souls, some people who can think. And if you want them to persuade, if you want to persuade them, if you want to make them understand, look, my idea is better than other ideas, so you have to understand what is it that they are going to take back home. So the audience, the which is also called audience analysis, knowing your audience, understanding your audience. So what are the factors that work over there when we think of our audience? What do the members of the audience do? Are they students? Are they working professionals? Working women? Are they homemakers? Are they, senior citizens? Are they school going kids? Who is going to be my audience? Is it engineers? Is it only the faculty members? Who is going? What is their profession? So, whatever I decide, my entire presentation will be crafted. Delivery has to be according to my audience. Then only it can be a very powerful, impactful presentation. Because if I have not thought of audience, if I have not kept audience in mind while making, uh, planning, preparing my presentation, it is not going to go across. So I have to keep in mind their profession, what is it that they do, what level of knowledge do the audience have, what is the level of the audience, are they educated? If they are educated, do they have professional qualification, or they are just general, 12 school going kids? Working women, so what is their profession, what is their knowledge level? Are they graduate, postgraduate? Are they PhD, doctors, engineers? What is their, do they belong to the professional world, a specific knowledge? Do they carry specific knowledge, or they are simply, they have their very basic, education level? So the level of the audience needs to be understood by the presenter. What will be new to them? Are these enlightened people? Are they, very much, do they use technology, right? Are these people very society driven people? um, are these parents? So whatever I'm going to talk about, whatever topic that I'm going to share with them, it can be anything. It can be related to religion, technology, it can be any social issue, It can be anything, that new invention that has taken place. It can be about mobile phones. So what is it that is going to be a new thing for them? So definitely that would add to my presentation. So what is it that they do not know? They have not explored. So let me bring that element into my presentation. What is the benefit to the audience in listening? What will be the takeaway, as I said earlier also? What is it that they are going to take back home? Will they be moved by my presentation? Is there something interesting for them? Right? Why would they be sitting in my presentation for 15, 20 minutes? Would they be getting something out of it? So keeping the, even after out of 10, as we saw this video of Steve Jobs, we saw that there were a lot of things. Somebody said the body language, somebody said the visuals, somebody said, the entire demeanor, the entire presentation, the products that he launched. Everybody has something or the other to take from the presentation. So similarly, in your presentation, there has to be something for the audience. Like we call it a wow factor. Was it will there be something that people are going to take from my presentation? Why would they be listening? Why would they be giving their time? Instead of sitting my presentation, they would be doing something else. So why would they? So you can see, you can have a demographic distribution where you keep in mind the age, the ethnic background, the culture, the region that they belong to, what is their social affiliation, political affiliation, what is their religion. So you can keep these things in mind. And the second would be the technology, their technical knowledge, their education background, their social strata in the society, what is their economic background. So you can have your classification depending upon the topic, the theme that you are going to have for your presentation, and the audience to whom you are going to deliver. You have to keep these things in mind. So studying your audience, analyzing your audience is a very crucial factor, because it is the people who are going to listen to your presentation. You want them to take some action on your this thing. You want them to listen to your presentation, or may start thinking, okay, I may, like nowadays we see that a lot of real estate people, they come up with a lot of advertisements in the newspaper. They are there their presence is so strong on social media also. They are on different platforms also. Why? What is the purpose? They want to reach out, and not a single player in the market. There are so many players. It's a uh, you know it's the entire world has, so many, there's so many, lot of competition is there. So since there are so many players, so why would people would go to a particular this thing, um, uh, product? Why would they not go to the second product or third product? Similarly, why would people come to your presentation? Why do you want them to pay heed to your presentation? So this is something that we have to understand. As a presenter, it is my responsibility to do the audience analysis, because what presentation I'm going to deliver to my students on the same subject, school going kids, it would be different to college going kids, and it would be different to professional students. It would be different to management. If I make a presentation on a general theme, it could be same. But if it is technical, then I have to see how it is to be delivered to engineering students, and the same how it is to be delivered to management students. Because both of them use mobile phones. So when they both of them use mobile phones, you want them to be you want to educate them on certain technologies, certain features which are there on the mobile phone, which they can use for their online education. Next is deciding upon the structure. Broadly seen, everything has got a beginning, middle, and end. So when you are putting your structure presentation into three parts: introduction, what is it that you're going to cover, what is it that you're going to put in the main body, and finally the conclusion. Now what happens is, when you are working upon the structure of your introduction, the main text, the main portion, or you can say it's just like a sandwich or a burger, where the meat is the main body, right? So your the upper layer and the bottom layer, they are your introduction and conclusion. So the main substance or the main text is in the main body. So how are you going to treat that main body? so that the audience has got get the entire you get the attention of the entire audience when you are talking about the crux of your presentation, the main theme of your presentation, the subject matter of your presentation. So your initial slides would talk about the introduction part, maybe one or two slides, and then you move on to for 4 5 slides you are going to have for your main body, the theme that you have. For example, a very simple topic could be time management. If you're talking about time management, so it's just the topic is time management. Now, when you're talking about time management, what is it that you're going to talk? And you're talking to a set of students, right? More or less of your age, more or less engineering student. So when you are talking to them about time management, don't you think that they are aware of time management? They have the idea of time management. What is it that you want to tell them about time management? You have to keep this thing in mind and structure your presentation. They already know time management has a value, and one should adhere to time limit and everything. Whatever tasks you take up, whether you are making a presentation, doing some work, time frame has to be kept in mind. So you want to your purpose of making a presentation on time management is to how to push them, how to motivate them to follow time management in their life, right? Because in this duration of 4 years or 3 years of their course, they have their maximum time at their hands where they can learn skills, they can develop themselves, they can groom to the best of their abilities. And once they move out and once they go for out for the in the job market, they may not get the plenty this much of time to work upon their skills. So there are a lot of basic skills, for example, communication that they can work upon. So they can decide upon your time that this is for first 6 months, I'll work extensively on my communication, and then gradually I'll dedicate some 2 to 3 hours in a week working for my communication. So this is your basic purpose. You want to push, you want to motivate, you want to encourage the students to follow time management in their lives, because this time is not going to come back. So that would form the main body of your presentation. Conclusion would be now. Conclusion would be you can talk about how this time management has brought a great change in the lives of the people. So you can cite certain examples, quotations, you can talk certain stories and all that. You can bring in certain, people into your presentation through their stories and all that. And finally, you may conclude that time management is a fantastic tool, right? And if we follow this, if we take care of this tool, it will make our life magical. We will change our life to a great extent. In a very limited time we'll be able to do lot many things, and we can make a very wise use of time. So when you are doing it, when you are deciding upon the structure, keep this thing in your mind that the main body is the meat. So the whatever uh, you know uh, uh, important issues, subject, themes, sub themes that you want to bring, that should get covered under the main body. uh, this is exactly what it is. Tell them what you are going to tell them, then tell them and tell them what you have told them. So this is something, that you give the agenda in the beginning, that this is what it covers, this is what we are going to have in our presentation. As I said in the beginning, that we are going to understand the process of preparing, planning, preparing, and delivering a presentation through this entire journey of presentation or session that we are going to have. So then you tell them, okay, this is what you are required to do and all that. And finally, you tell them what recapitulation or summarizing things towards the end in the conclusion. Now, we are going to have the video. Can we have the second video, sir, please?
Yes, definitely, madam. So it is the one impact of visuals.
Right, right.
Okay.
I think the video is not played.
The video was playing, madam. I am not sure though. It was playing at my end at least.
No, but on my screen there's nothing. This is the only my presentation slide is there. Nothing else is I can't see and
No,
I
but
can't do anything.
okay. Can anybody write please whether the video is the you could see the video or not? Voice was not there, yes, but video.
No, no, there is no voice in the video. It's just the visual.
Yes, video. Everybody is writing video was there. Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
I
Yes,
am
sir.
not able to see the video on my screen.
Few no sirs though. Few no sirs though. But yes, sir is maximum. Anyway, see if I run this video once more very quickly, just maybe
Right.
a part of it. Part
But
of it.
Asad, yeah, I am. It's not coming on my screen.
Please check once more.
Right.
Is it coming on your screen?
No, no, no. And I'm stuck. I can't do anything. Neither I can close this presentation or I can,
Okay. See, the video is
the
running.
screen is.
Video once more. See, it is running. It is absolutely running. So I stopped the video because people could see the video, but you are stuck on your screen.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Okay, there's some
Just
problem
I
actually.
can, to the max, I can move my presentation, but rest I can't. Yeah, now I'm back. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now I can see. Yes. Right. So people have watched the video, I believe.
Yes, maximum. Few no sirs were there.
Okay.
Few no sirs were
Okay.
there. Maximum,
Okay.
yes, sir. I saw it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's there. I saw it. Yes, madam. Now also Anik Pramanik writes, yes, madam. Okay. So
Okay. Okay. Great. 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 Uh, right. So quickly, I would request participants to write down what did they see in the video.
few people are requesting to run the video once more. There are few
Okay.
requests to run the video once more because few people are writing that there were some
Uh-huh.
glitches. Can you run the video once more? Should I do that, madam, or should I?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. No, because it's a very short of very little short duration.
Okay,
So we can run
okay,
the
okay,
video again.
okay. I'm doing that then. Please allow me.
Yeah.
You can see the video. There is no sound though. In this video, there is no sound. You may again write in the questions box whether you are able to see this video. There is no sound. Many people are writing, yes, sir, it's there. Video is running. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Many people are writing it. I think there are few cases, 10% cases where it is not matching the, maybe your system is not matching with the system, so you cannot see the video. Around 10% cases. If there are 10 yes sir, 9 yes sirs, 1 no sir is also there. There is no sound in this video. Only there is the video. No sound is there. Okay, so I will just change the presenter mode again. Yeah, now you can do it again, madam. Find it.
Okay. So what have people written about the video?
Okay, people, till now, I'm just finding out. You are requested, audience are there, you're requested to write something about the video. Firstly, there are many great videos written. Many people have written great video, but there's some comments are needed. Okay, Auditro Day writes progression. Okay, I am just finding.
Okay.
Monami Chaudhary says video is very colorful and concise. Karan Kumawat is saying did not play in my phone somehow. Anyway, Vivekanand Kumar, so nice video, great video. But see, you please write about the video, not great video, nice
Right.
video. Please avoid
No,
that.
no, we
Write
don't
something
want
about
this
the video.
comment. We want what did you see in the video?
Yes. Okay. So somebody writes Tiwarish Sumit Pukraj. He writes it gives good knowledge about India and its growth. Shilbhadra Das,
Okay.
percentage related information. Amit
Okay.
Nandi, connection amongst different people. Sri Hari Ji, perfect plan for present and future. Dolon Champa Das, how is it progressing?
Okay.
Pure population by Suruthi. Okay, there is a big, they have not used many words but explained the purpose quite well. Monami Chaudhary. Saurav Kumar,
Okay.
the video shows the history and the successfully grown in different regions of the world.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there are so many. I'm just missing out. Man, it's a flood of answers that are coming in the questions
Okay.
box.
Great,
Maybe
great, great.
I missed out the best answers. I'm sorry for that, but I tried to.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
Dhriti
no.
Borua, Professor Dhriti Borua writes something, so I will read that. A comparison. Okay, she writes only a comparison, nothing else. Okay.
Okay. Okay, okay. Great, great. Okay. So many of you have given uh, written text about the images, the visuals that you saw in the video, that it's the same could have been converted into text also. But if you look at the visuals, that has its own visuals have their own uh, you know role to play in presentation or in anything. If you have visuals, that makes your presentation, not only your presentation but anything around you, that makes us very interesting and very impressive. You love to watch videos, you love to watch images, and it is said that a picture is worth than 1,000 words. So the same can be written in words, can be written in text, but if you replace it with an image, with a picture, that would make, and everybody has got his or her own interpretation for that picture. So it makes the present. When you were watching the video of Steve Jobs, also you must have noticed that he has used lot of images, lot of pictures, graphics, and visuals in his presentation. And instead of talking about, writing, yes, bullets are required. If we want to use words and phrases, that's fine. But complete long sentences is a big no for presentations, because people are not there to read your text. People are there to watch it, right? So when you can make your presentations worth watching, that has its own impact on people. So in this slide, in this, the next slide, and the purpose of showing this video was to make you understand. There was no sound also in this video. It was to make you understand the role of visuals in our presentation. So make it a point that if you do not have, suppose you don't want to put text over there, replace it with an image. Use, as I did, for the Steve Jobs video, I used the image of Steve Jobs, because here the video could not be used because of this, connectivity issue. So I used the picture of Steve Jobs. Now one can go on talking about this image for hours, right? So that the picture itself is so expressive, is self-explanatory, and everybody has his own way of looking at the picture. So if you want to grab the attention of your audience, bring in a lot of images, bring in visuals in here. If you want to use video clips, nothing like it, but make it a point your video clips should be short, right? If you want to use something which is quite lengthy, maybe of 7 8 minutes, because it's difficult to retain the interest of people unless it is very very interesting and has an element of humor in the video, or something very catchy interesting about the video. Otherwise, never ever put lengthy videos should be maximum 2 to 3 minutes length. Even 3 minutes is quite, unless it has got very strong and attractive elements in it. So what are the visuals that you can have for your presentation, right? You can use handouts so that you can keep your, because these things have got a role to play in engaging your audience. How to keep your audience engaged, how to involve your audience in your presentation. So you can have lot of mediums that you can use. You can use handouts, right? You can share the handouts with the people, allow them to work on that, do some kind of work, maybe in individually, pair, or in group, right? You can use quiz sheets or audience polls, as we have the audience polls, so that people, when you have such kind of, questions posed by the presenter to the audience, then people get involved in it. They take interest in responding to the questions. You may have flip chart where you create, you can create your flip chart in advance, or even if you want to do it right there. Lot of things that you can use offline. These are the mediums that you can use offline other than audience poll. So for the offline, you have a lot of variety. You can call the people over there on the stage, or the area where you are standing, the presenter around lectern. So you can make the person stand over there, and you can ask him or her to write something on the flip chart. Call people one by one, ask them to write something on the whiteboard, so that this is called this, involve them in, in the presentation. It should not be done, done excessively. Otherwise the rhythm of your presentation will somewhere get lost. You'll miss on your presentation. PowerPoint slides. Now for power, there is one tool which is very often used by people, a lot of presenters use, which is called Prezi, Prezi. You can have your account, you can create your account, you can have your institution account in the name of your institution. You can have your account over there, and you can create your own Prezi. It is all online. It cannot be done offline. So you can make your presentations, because it's all moving, the slides. In one single slide, you can have your entire presentation. So you can make your presentation on Prezi. Then there is Canva also. Then there is Picha Pucha also, which is, in I think in 2 minutes time, 20, you can use maximum 20 slides, and you can run those slides, and within 20, I don't exactly remember the duration of the, this the number of slides that you can run in a particular time period. I don't remember exactly the time period, what is the duration. Then projector is there nowadays, LCD projector that you can use. And then if it is something offline, then you can do some short activity also, some game also that you can do. Pictures, movies, video clips. You can carry chart papers, charts. You can use posters also. You have created, design your own poster. It can be a digital poster or handmade poster, and the entire presentation can happen on that. Especially a lot of lot of college students, when they make their academic presentations, they prefer to do it on posters because they can bring in a lot of creativity on that poster, and which otherwise they can't do digitally. They have certain limitation. So you can use audio music, you can use podcast for your own recording, or you can play a podcast and make people, ask them to listen to it, and then so there are plenty of audiovisual aids that you can use. And for making your presentation impressive, you can use lot of images, you can use lot of graphical representations. Infograph is there, infographic representation you can have of anything. You can have mind maps also. You can create a mind map of anything on your own. There are online also software available. Otherwise, you can create your related to the subjects, themes, sub themes. You can have mind maps. So the entire presentation can be brought on one single mind map, and you can go on explaining, elaborating those points. So there are plenty of tools that you can use which can heighten your presentation, which can enhance the presentation and make it more impressive and appealing for the audience. And also it would make you, today you are using PowerPoint, tomorrow you may use a Picha Pucha, tomorrow, or you may use Prezi. So, gradually you are improving, you are adding more to your, uh, you know, adding on your skills. You are learning new tools, you are using new technology. So there are a lot of things that you can use. You can have simple as maybe a piece of paper you can carry and speak from that. Pick up the things and you can speak from there. So it's all up to you, what medium you want to choose. But make it a point that you make it every time, make it interesting and innovative for people. Now, how are you going to prepare the script? We believe that the more buzzwords we use, terminologies, jargons, coin terms we use, the more interesting and impressive we are badly mistaken. It is not required. We are required to use very simple language in a presentation, unless it is a very technical presentation. Even if you are making a technical presentation, other than terminologies, what you can use a very simple language, a very conversational language, so that people are able to flow with you. People are able to understand and identify with you, relate with you. So keeping your language simple is very, very important. Then another thing is offer a body evidence. Whatever you have brought in, whatever information that you are carrying, either you quote people's name or anybody who has devised that term, or you bring in sources that you have cited. Mention those sources in your on your slides, so that that would authenticate your information. So whatever people will easily relate, okay, this is picked up from this journal, or this is picked up from this encyclopedia, this information is picked up from this book title by this author, page number this. So if you support your statements, your knowledge with facts, that would definitely your information will get authentic, and people tend to believe in whatever you say. Whatever important information that you want to share, whatever the main theme or subject of your presentation, try to make it more impressive. Try to make it more, so that it reaches to the people. People lend their ears to you. People make it a point to listen to that information. So how to make your core message strong? Use a lot of supporting state details, facts, site situations, examples, stories, discoveries, experiments. whatever history, bring in those things in order to make your message more emphatic or appealing. Don't put too much of information, as it was said. Do not have too much of text on your slide. Very little text with more supported by images, enhanced by images, would do wonders. Font, color, composition, alignment, background, that is, all there. We have a lot of wonderful templates available. And that is also, related to specific subject and area. If you're speaking on something related to business, you'll get a lot of templates. If something's related to engineering, you'll get for engineering, also for fine arts, also music, also culture, anything. You can have a lot of templates are available on Google and Microsoft, and there are a lot of other platforms also. You can pick up the template from there, which has its own, the color and everything is inbuilt in that, in those templates. Now, once you have done your first draft is prepared, done, please start editing because there is always scope for editing, for edition. So if you revise, you'll see that you have cut down on a lot of text, lot of, after the first draft, you'll see lot of text. When you go through it very carefully, you'll see there's a lot of material which is not relevant in your presentation. Do away with that, right? Because because over there then you have more to speak, more to express, more to detail, right? More to elaborate. So when you do, people don't want to read the material, people don't want to read the text, people want to listen to you. People come there, they give their time to you, not to the text, because text is everywhere available. And once your script is ready and you have shared it with your seniors, mentors, and all that, because gradually, once you start learning, for your initial presentation, you need people's help, guidance. But gradually, you train yourself so well that you don't need people's, as such help. You'll manage on your own. So start practicing, right? Practice it, as it was said in Steve Jobs' case also. He used to rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse. He had a huge setup. We may not be able to. His mentor also said that everybody is not able to afford this kind of setup. But whatever we have, our own speech delivery, if we can work upon our speech, on our pronunciation, enunciation, articulation, right? Highs and lows, intonation, we come to that. So that would have, it's all magical. It's drama, it's performance. So this all brings us to this, slide, which talks about three things, and these three things called ethos, pathos, and logos. These are three pillars of persuasion given by the Greek philosopher Aristotle. Aristotle believed that if you want to make your speech strong, if you really want to reach out to people, you need to have these three elements in your speech: ethos, pathos, and logos. They're derived from Greek terminology. Ethos is related to the ethics, the credibility of a character, of a person. If you are making a presentation on any subject, any theme, you may not be expert, definitely. Nobody expects you to be an expert. But yes, you have done some study on that, because that would add to your credibility. That would make your presentation credible. People would listen to you, right? Gradually, you may attain, expertise in that area. But initially, when you are making a presentation, you have you have acquired knowledge, you have gathered information, you have cited sources, right? You have taken a lot of stories, examples. Okay, you bring in all those things, and this is how you have added. This has added to your knowledge, and you have expanded your horizon of knowledge, and you know a lot about the subject, because when you work on certain topic, when you make a presentation, what do? You study, you collect information, you gather information, and then you try to structure it in a certain order, in a fashion. So that definitely gives you an edge over others, because as compared to others, you have a pretty good idea about that subject. So when you speak, you speak with confidence. You speak as if you are the master of the subject. And people do not get to know that you do not know this subject. You have just picked up this subject. So that would lead to persuasion. You'll be able to persuade people that you know the subject. And whatever you are talking, that makes sense and that comes from a source, right? So you can have a lot of information, you can study, you can collect material, and you can speak on the basis of that. So when you are doing it, you can cite a lot of stories. You can talk about the journals that you have read for this. You can talk about books you have. You can talk about people that you have met, interviewed people. You can bring a lot of statistics. You can bring in a lot of facts, and that adds to the that makes your subject, your theme, your presentation very, very credible. Right. Second is pathos. Pathos is related to emotions, right? If you bring this element in your presentation, people love emotions, right? Emotions do wonder. Okay. So you can see, all the advertisements that we see. What is the major element that they have? All the entertainment, material stuff that you see, what is the value that is the emotional appeal. They've got a very high emotional appeal. It can be angry, it can be any emotion. And when you are making a presentation, if you are happy, if you bring in a lot of humor, you cite stories, you cite anecdotes, you cite incidents, you bring in a lot of examples from history, that makes your presentation very lively, vibrant, and enriching for the audience to follow. And people would follow you, people would sail with you when you have very high emotions in your presentation, right? And how do you do that? You bring in stories, you talk about children, you talk about the environment, you bring in those issues which are very sensitive, very close to your heart, and people moved by those situations and stories. Third is the logos, which is related to logic, right? So somewhere, other than ethics and emotions, logic has to be there. Otherwise, why would people buy? Why would people listen to you when there is no logic in it? Why would they spend their few hours of their life listening to you when there is no logic? So how do you support your logical statements? By quoting factual statements, by bringing in statistics, by bringing innovations, by bringing in experiments, by bringing in cause and effect theories, the concept, by bringing in yeah all these things that if you bring in, that would make your presentation very logical, very factual. When you talk about figures, when you talk about numbers, as you saw in that picture image, what was it? It talked about the growth progression of India. So you could see year wise how was it happening, and it talked about the future also of India. So based on past and present, it forecasted something for the future, about future India. So the logic, the element of logic or has to be there in the presentation, right? So these three things as given by Aristotle, if you bring in, and I tell you, if you work on these three elements of persuasion, the presentation will it should have ethos, pathos, and logos. All the three elements, if they are in balanced, definitely the presentation is going to be, people go gaga over your presentation. People would love to listen to you. People would fall in love with you, right? So make sure that when you are making a presentation, you have these three elements of persuasion. Even if you want to inform people, even if you want to educate people, whatever your purpose is, it should be on the three pillars of, at the base of this presentation, you should have these three elements, right? And it's an age-old concept, so it cannot be easily. People cannot easily do away with this or may deny this. So it actually works, and you may see the material things, literature all around us. Everything has got these three elements. Right. Uh, can we have the next video, sir? That is identify the presentations.
I'm just arranging.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Public Speaking. Today's first presenter is Ranjit, and I would ask everyone to give him their full attention. Chantal, could you dim the lights, please?
The British imposed a lot of unpopular taxes on the American colonists and didn't let them elect representatives to the British government. In retaliation, the Americans started to boycott British goods. In 1773, Americans in Massachusetts dumped a shipload of British tea into Boston Harbor. This became known as the Boston Tea Party. As punishment, the British imposed laws known as the Intolerable Acts, including the Quartering Act, which made Americans let British soldiers live in their homes. Some of the American colonies created a Declaration of Rights and Grievances, which they sent to Britain, but the British just sent soldiers to the colonies to put down any rebellion. This led to the first battles of the Revolution at Lexington and Concord.
Thank you, Ranjit. I know it's very hard to give a presentation in front of the entire class. Now, would anyone like to offer Ranjit constructive feedback about his presentation? Any tips for what he might do differently next time? For example, were you all able to hear what Ranjit was saying?
Not really. He needs to speak louder and face the audience.
Yes. Great suggestion. Anyone else?
He was reading from his paper, so it didn't feel like he was really talking to us, you know?
Exactly. It's important when you're speaking to look up every sentence or two and make eye contact with someone in the audience. Anything else that Ranjit could do to appear more relaxed and feel more confident?
He could smile more.
Yes, smiling makes us feel relaxed. Oh, and make sure your phone is off before you speak next time. I do have one more suggestion. To connect with listeners, it's a great idea to use a personal story or experience as an example. Can you try that next time?
I think so, yes. Next week, my presentation will be about the causes and effects of stress.
We look forward to hearing it. Ranjit is first up again today, and I look forward to his new presentation. Jorge, could you dim the lights, please?
Good morning. Today I'd like to talk about the causes and effects of stress and how to cope with stress. Stress has many causes, including work or school, life events, changes, or unrealistic expectations of yourself. Some effects of stress include headaches, trouble sleeping, depression, or lack of concentration. I know how hard it can be to deal with stress. Last year, I started working after school to save for college, but I didn't have time to do homework and my grades went down. I had trouble sleeping, I only ate junk food, and I stopped hanging out with my friends. Fortunately, I was able to talk with a school counselor to manage my stress. She suggested that I reduce my hours at my job, eat healthy foods, and get some exercise. So I literally started walking home from school and bringing my lunch. I also asked my teachers for extra help. Now, I feel better. It's important to recognize when you're stressed and to ask for help. Thank you.
Great work, Ranjit. I want you all to reflect on how much stronger today's presentation was. Ranjit looked us in the eyes, he spoke clearly, he smiled at us, and he used a personal anecdote to help us feel more connected to him. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Um, I think everybody has watched the video.
I will just look into the answers in the questions box, madam, for that. There are many, yes, several, yes, madam, yes, it was great. Yes, madam, there, again, the questions box is flooding.
Okay, okay, good, 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 good. Right, right. Now, you could have noticed, right, everything, whatever was visible to your eyes, there was a marked difference in the first and in the second stage, right? So, which is why I've written good or bad, although it's not, nothing is bad, nothing is good. But yes, what was acceptable and what was not acceptable. So, but how was he when he was making a presentation earlier? It was the presentation in earlier situation and the next second situation. But how was it different? How was the first situation different from the second situation that you could easily make out and understand, right from standing, his posture and everything. We'll take up these things, gradually. So that this would a video must have given you some idea that when you are delivering a presentation, it can be effective only when your preparation, as I said earlier, when your preparation and your planning is right there, is is done with a lot of efforts. So definitely your efforts will be seen in your delivery, right? So when you deliver your presentation, generally, what is it that you have to keep in mind? You introduce yourself, right? You talk about yourself, then you smile. It is said that you keep smiling, but it should not be, all the time you're unnecessarily smiling. But you should appear to the people that you are very excited, positive looking, very happy to be a part of this exercise, to be there as a presenter. Because unless you are happy, you would not make people happy, because whatever you are going to present, whatever you're going to speak, would not come in the same fashion. If you're sad, if you're dull, it would not sound interesting to the people. So make it a point that you look very interesting, happy, excited about the whole. The energy level is to maintain right from the beginning till the end, no matter how tough, difficult it is for you, even if you're not keeping good, right? Something previous night or previous day, something untoward happened or nothing, you were not happy for certain things that happened in your life. But on the day of your present, at the time of your presentation, you have to be happy, right? So you talk about right from the beginning, this is how you're going to, sorry, this is how you're going to proceed, what is the structure, what all you're going to bring in, so that people remain hooked to your presentation right from the beginning till the end. Use the right kind of language. We talked about that. Language needs to be very, very simple, devoid of jargons and terminologies, unless it is a very technical, hardcore subject. Right? So, now for delivery, what are the other main features? What is it that is important when you are delivering a presentation? You saw it with Ranji. How was he earlier and how was he later on? His attire, how was he standing, how was his connect with the audience. This reminds me of the next poll question, sir. That is, can we have the poll question, next poll question, sir?
Surely. So the next poll is to select the content of your presentation. I'm just.
You should know the time limit, the audience
Yes.
needs, and the available material.
So the poll is available for everyone to vote. I
Okay.
request all members to quickly vote.
Right.
Okay, so to select the content of your presentation, you should know the time limit or the audience needs or the available material. Waiting for the votes. It's roughly 40% crossed, almost 50%. So let me wait just a wee while more. I'm just waiting for maybe it reaches 60% somewhat. Actually, there are a few comments in the question box saying that the poll is coming a bit late. So there are a lot of questions about that. A lot of comments are coming. Okay. So I'm waiting for that. Just. If anybody has not got the poll, can you kindly write in the questions box so that I can understand? If anybody, many people are writing done. Okay, but if you have not got the poll, can you kindly write it? Okay, many people are writing received now. Okay, so I think we can close now because 60% crossed. So let me close the poll now.
Right.
So that's the result. I share it. So the result says this: 17% the time limit, 72% the audience needs, and 11% the available material.
Okay. So I think the correct answer is to select the content of your presentation, you should know the time limit. So those who have said time limit, well, this is not the right answer. Even the available material is not the correct answer. The absolutely correct answer is the audience needs. So whatever content we choose for our presentation, that has to be in sync with the requirement or expectations of the audience. Time limit is a factor, but when you have when you have audience needs and expectations there, so you have to understand one thing: the audience that is a primary issue. You have to take into mind the audience needs, right? Because if the people are not convinced, satisfied, if the expectations are not met, the presentation may not be very effective. Okay, so we move on to the next slide. Yes, this takes me back to what we discussed yesterday, elements of presentations. These are basically what we discussed. If I don't know whether people, those who were there yesterday, they can recall what I talked about. I talked about Professor Albert Mehrabian, who said that communication is categorized into two. How do we communicate? We communicate through body, we communicate through our voice, and we communicate through words, right? So it's three V's: vocal, verbal, and visual, right? So visual is related to body, verbal is related to the words, and vocal is related to voice. So this is this is how when you are presenting, look at all these the presenters, those who are there in the videos, be it Steve Jobs, Ranjit, and the other presentations. It is the how do you present yourself? Okay, how are you looked? How are you? What is your physical demeanor when you are making a presentation? How do you stand? How do you maintain eye contact with people? Right? What is the variation which is there in your pitch? Okay. So how do you articulate? Where do you put stress? Do you highlight certain words? Do you put stress on certain sounds? Right? How's your speed? How's your volume? Is intonation there in your voice? rising and falling tone. So these things, because as it was said in the first video, that it is basically a performance. When you are presenting, you are a performer, you are making a presentation, you are giving a performance. So the performance has to have all these elements. And body language, posture, gesture, how are you standing with your palms open? When your palms are open, it's all welcoming, right? You are open to receive, you are open to give and receive as well, right? And when you are with open hands, we make people believe that I'm ready to accept things, and this is what I have to offer you, right? And the moment I close my body, that is, I there is a wall between two of us, between the presenter and the audience. So neither anything can go nor anything can come in. So in that situation, what happens is, there is a kind of, something is erected, and I can't go through, nor the people on the other side can come this side. So my whatever I want to send to people, that is not received, nor what people think or want express, that is not, I am not able to take that. So it has to be an open body. You should stand with your palms open, right? And little raise and leaning little forward, so that you are inclined towards the audience, you are listening to the audience, you are for the audience. Okay, so when you are standing, don't put your hands inside the pocket when you are making a presentation. That is some kind of, you want to show authority. It can be both the ways. When you are putting your hands at the back, some kind of authority. When you're putting your hands inside the pocket, you are little low. You feel little under pressure, right? So when your hands are, and I've seen certain people when they're making a presentation, they clasp their hands. It's okay to do in between, right? And there's some people who do it deliberately in order to, you know, um, make it a mark of uh, their presence, to show their presence, they do it. So it is in between, it's okay. But to have a relaxed and comfortable posture, please let your shoulders be little, um, uh, it should be, your shoulders should be on your sides, right? And in between you can raise above your shoulder, hands above your shoulder, whenever you are explaining, elaborating certain things. You can take your hands out, you can have some kind of, different gestures, but it should be something, that you are open to people, and you are willing to listen, give to them, and also willing to listen to them, right? So this is something that is required when you are making a presentation. Everything is there inside your head, or the supporting material, that your tool that you are using, but the performance, the dramatization has to come from your body. So unless your body is open, relaxed, comfortable, you're confident, and you are happy and excited about the whole program, it would not come, right? And then another thing is your visibility and movement. You are visible when you move. If you stick to one place, if you stand behind the podium, people would not be interested, right? It is as if you are hiding yourself behind the podium. Don't do that unless it is required, right? And even if you are standing close to the podium, don't put your hands on the podium, right? You may have your material, your paper or laptop or anything over there, but don't take the support. Initially, you may, for a in between, you may do it, but otherwise, don't make it a habit that you take the support. Yes, when you start doing it, when you are just picking up the skill, learning to become a speaker, you may initially do that, but gradually make it a point that you do not take the support, right? Of anything. Move in between. You can have little movement, cover the space, because it is a performance. So you are visible when you move. If you stick to one place, you will not. And it also depends upon the audience. If you have very many people, definitely you cannot have eye contact with people. It is your neck movement, your hands movement would show people that how lively, vibrant, engaging you are, right? Otherwise, you can bring the magic from your voice. If you are in a huge gathering, it is your voice that works wonder. So make it a point that you do a lot of articulation, pronunciation, enunciation, maintain a pace, highs and lows, highlight certain words, right? It can have fun, in the entire during the entire presentation. So this is something that would make you feel confident. You would feel people would feel, you will feel connected, and people will feel that you are making this presentation to them. You are doing it. You are there for them, right? Um, then we move on to the next. Almost this is towards the end of the presentation. A very important situation that comes is towards the end, and that is generally when it's an open forum, and you invite people to ask questions, and people are willing to ask questions. Now it is a situation when you get into a different role, right? You little become on the defensive side, right? Because now it is a kind of, so far you were delivering information, you were sharing information to with the people, you were telling them something, and they were listening to you. Now it's their turn. Whatever they have listened, acquired, they want to inquire about certain things. They want to cross check certain things. They want to uh, have, they want to, whatever stirring that happens inside their head, they want to have seek clarification for that. So you get into a different role. But this is the moment when you need to be very, very calm and relaxed. It's not required, nor it is important to know each and everything. Heavens will not fall if you're not able to answer, if you have no answers to certain questions. It's not a problem. Nobody is an expert on this planet, right? But how do you handle the situation? That is very, very important. How do you do that? So what are there a few things that you can keep in mind? It's just like an interview. When a question is thrown to you, you are required to listen, to pause, to wait, to internalize, think over, and then respond. Similarly, over here, when you have a lot of questions coming to you, you can make it to the people that, yes, I would be very happy taking questions from you, but if I would appreciate if we have questions coming from you one by one, right? So that would maintain the pace, the rhythm of the entire, session. So think before answering the question. If any question has come to you, make it a point that you stop, think over, you pause for a while, you think over, and then you come up with your. Don't take questions as threats. These are the opportunities. Whatever you have delivered, people got some different idea. They had a different thought to share with them. Maybe something new has generated, has come into their mind, and they want to share it with you. So don't see that this is something that they want to be critical about your presentation. It's nothing like that. So again, as I said, you need to be with an open mind, right? Okay, let it be there. Okay, this could be his view of looking at things. This is something, this has given, this is an eye opener, right, for me, whatever you have shared just now. So treat things, take this as an opportunity, not as something, a sign of danger, or in a critical, that you are in a critical situation. Acknowledge the question. So somebody who is asking you a question, it means that person has given his time, has listened to you, right? So you should be very grateful to that person who has posed a question to you. So always be thankful to such people, those who pose a question and they come up with their idea or with their thought. And could be something very thought provoking, something very interesting. It could be something very interesting, and you can always, um, you know, take it in that spirit. You may, it could be something very interesting, or maybe an additional element that you can have in your presentation, or you may look at it from different perspective. If you have not understood the question, you may always request the person to repeat the question or rephrase it in a manner that you are able to understand it. Don't answer if you do not know. If you're not able, don't keep, making a story around it. If you know the answer, come straight to the answer. Otherwise, say, well, I'm not, I do not have much idea about this. Let me go to it once again and then I'll get in touch with you. And there are some situations when we are always in a hurry to answer the question because we feel we want to show some kind of, that you have a knowledge, you have a better knowledge than others. You know the subject, definitely you know the subject, and which is why you are there to deliver the talk on that subject. So you are giving them some additional knowledge. So definitely you have an edge over others, but never let it, uh, you know, come on to people that you know better or you have better information than these people. You are better informed. So this is a situation. Handling question is a situation where you have to be little calm, composed. You have to be in a very calm and composed manner. Handle it very carefully because your skills are greatly judged in this session. As a presenter, whether you're offensive or defensive, do you take it as a threat or as an opportunity? This takes me to the last, this is the almost the last of the presentation. What is required? You have to have a great structure. The structure should flow as if you have things one after the other coming way, making the level, gradually increasing the level from easy to little difficult. Have very little amount of text on each slide. Designs needs to be very, very impressive and catchy and attractive so that people are hooked to your presentation. Have a great start. You may use quotation, story, figure, fact, make use of images. Polish, if you have time, make it a point that you make it polish, edit it ruthlessly, or wherever it is required. Please give time to your presentation so that it becomes a very chisel, clear, fine-tuned presentation. As I said, I have a strong opening, impressive, great opening, fantastic opening. Be genuine and honest. It should appear as if you have really worked hard for this presentation and you are pretty serious about it. And whatever you are speaking straight from the heart. Have a plan for a smooth delivery. Devise your strategy. Have your plan that this is how you're going to deliver. You're going to bring in what are the elements that you're going to bring in first, then next, and then next. How are you going to conclude so that it brings a lot of value to the audience and they remain hooked, they remain engaged throughout your presentation. At every level, you have some or the other interesting factor to bring in so that people listen to you and try to make it, an interesting journey for both of you, both the presenter and for themselves, the audience. This is the, before we take up this, can we have the last poll question, sir?
Yes, sure. So which of these you should avoid while delivering a presentation?
There are three options again.
Yeah, I have launched it. Which of these you should
Okay.
avoid while delivering a presentation? Kindly click on the right choice. Talking loudly and in between going off track, making frequent eye contact with your audience and using occasional pauses. So kindly read the question properly and answer.
Right, right.
Okay, so kindly vote first. I request everyone. Once again, I find few people writing that the poll has not come to me.
Okay.
I request you to kindly hold your patience. Maybe it is taking a bit of time to reach the mobile phones. I'm not sure why. Okay, reached now. Many people are saying reached now. Thank you. Okay, it will be reaching.
Okay.
Kindly wait. Okay, so already around 50% votes are there. Okay, so it's roughly 55% votes. We may wait for maybe 3 more seconds, 10 more
Okay.
seconds, sorry. 10 more seconds, sorry. So, yeah. So I think we can close now. It's around 60% votes now. It's around it's
Okay.
60% votes now. Okay. So I close it and share the results. So the results say this: 73% people says talking loudly and in between going off track.
Off track.
Yeah,
Right.
14% and 13% are the two other options.
Okay. Great. Yes. The first one, this is something that we should be avoiding while making a presentation. Talking loudly and in between going off track. It happens, people go little raise their voice level and they go off track also. They bring in some other subjects. So we should be very careful on this and not sticking, because the time, we have got a time limit. So adhering to time limit, and in that given time limit, taking care of the subject, and because the audience is there to listening to you. So thank you so much for taking part into this. This is the last, video, which is in a way a summarization of whatever we discussed, which would give you an idea how to make a presentation, what all we have to take into mind. You may call it do's, don'ts. This presentation video takes care of everything related to presentation. So, sir, if can we play this presentation or video?
Yes, I'm playing it. So it is how to give a great presentation.
Right.
Hey practitioners, today I'm going to be teaching you, with the help of my friend Dana Bluin, the top 7 tips for a great presentation. Dana Bluin is an entrepreneur currently living in Bangkok, Thailand, where he is a co-founder and CEO of a company called Mango Labs. Anyways, here's some of his tips. We all have to give presentations at different points in our life. That might be for school or work or an organization that you are involved with. No matter where we give the presentation or to who, we want to make sure that it has the impact on the audience and that it's memorable. These are 7 tips that are going to ensure that you nail the presentation and leave a lasting impression on your audience. Number 1, know your audience. The first step in preparing for any presentation should be to get a better idea of who your audience is. Knowing your audience will allow you to understand the type of content they are going to be expecting with regards to depth and technical detail. You wouldn't want to give the same presentation to a group of high school students who are interested in entrepreneurship that you would to a room full of startup founders and CEOs, because their expectations and level of understanding will be on completely different levels. Dig up as much as you can about who your audience is, what industries they work in, and what positions they generally hold. This allows you to really tailor the content and delivery of the presentation in a way that will really make it stand out and be memorable. Too many times people give killer presentations at one venue to a group made up of their core audience and then bomb on the same presentation to a different group because they didn't make the changes they needed to better address the new audience. Just because you kill it in one audience doesn't mean the same exact content will replicate the reaction with all audiences. Number 2, use structures to build on ideas. If you stand up and give a presentation and all the points you want to make are just tossed around randomly and they don't make any sense, not too many people are going to enjoy your presentation, and if they remember it, it's likely that it's not for the reasons that you want them to. However, if you structure your presentation in a way that each idea, each section builds on the one before it, you help your audience connect with the content and create logical links between the concepts. This is a great way to make more complex ideas easier for the audience to understand and remember. Number 3, use visuals. Another great tool to cement those ideas in the mind of your audience is to use visuals like charts, graphs, and infographics to illustrate and communicate a concept. As many as 65% of people are considered to be visual learners. So if you don't take this approach in your presentation, you are going to ignore the vast majority of the population. Using an image, regardless of if it's a picture, graph, or chart, can be a much more potent conveyor of information and has a much more powerful impact on the audience. A single image can convey so much information, just like the old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. It really is. Think of the impact this can have when explaining data or results in a presentation. If you had to stand there in front of your audience and go through every data point verbally, it can get bad quickly. And this is much more common of an occurrence than you might think. But if you're able to visualize that data for your audience with a graph or chart, you instantly make it much more understandable and memorable. Showing someone 200% growth with a graph is much more exciting than explaining it while they're looking at the raw data. For example, if I took away the screen of this video and all you saw was black, it wouldn't be near as exciting. Number 4, repetition is your friend. Having a bit of structure in your presentation goes a long way in keeping the audience engaged because they can follow the information from step to step. But even more than just structuring the flow of the presentation, you also want to build in repetition. This encourages people to remember the key points of the presentation and helps it stick, which again makes it and you more memorable. A classic way to go about repetition is something Dana learned early on when he started his public speaking career. Another speaker at a big regional tech event came up to him after a talk and complimented Dana on his delivery and the depth of the material, but asked why he didn't use more repetition. Dana was a bit stumped because he never really thought about that before. The other speaker suggested that Dana start telling the audience what it is he wanted to tell them, just to give them a brief rundown of the key points. After that, move right into the body of the presentation and tell them exactly what was highlighted at the beginning, but obviously with more detail and extra elements that you add in to make the presentation stick. Then end the presentation by telling them what you just told them, reminding them of the key points and a brief summary for final repetition. Using this technique helps to reinforce the main points of the presentation at least 3 times, at the beginning, middle, and end. The key is to find a way to do this that it feels natural and not overly scholastic, and that takes practice, which we'll talk about later on. Tip number 5, have a story to tell. The difference between an average presentation that people zone out of and a great presentation that keeps them engaged is how you convey the information to the audience. A great way to convey the information or key points of your presentation is to use a story. By using a story, preferably an interesting one, you get your point across and you're creating a moment in the presentation that is memorable and easier for the audience to recall later. It's also hopefully going to be something that catches their attention, pulling them into what you were saying. One of the keys here though is that it has to be a story you can tell with commitment, and it has to be true. Always be honest with your audience, because if you're not, they will know and you will have lost all credibility. Tip number 6, be relatable. Being relatable is actually one of the most important factors of your delivery. You want to be someone that your audience can relate to, that they would feel comfortable with talking to. Even when giving a talk as an expert on a topic, you want the audience to feel the relation. It helps them mentally engage with your content and remember you and your talk. Most people don't feel comfortable going up and talking to a stern authority figure, and no one wants to listen to someone with no confidence. So there's a fine balance you need to strike, and here's how. The most important thing you can do to come across as more relatable is to be authentic. Be yourself. Another great way to accomplish this is to work on coming across as relaxed, which can be difficult if you're not used to presenting, but this goes a long way to helping people see you as relatable. The final way you can be more relatable is to be enthusiastic about your presentation. Your enthusiasm will transfer to your audience, and now that you have enthusiasm in common, you will begin to see as more relatable. If you can get all 3 of these techniques mastered, you will be well on your way to making it to your audience relate to you. Tip number 7, build your confidence with practice. This might be the last tip, but it is by far the most important one out of these 7. Confidence in what you do is by far the most important element of your presentation. Having confidence adds an authority to everything you say during your presentation, but you're not going to develop the confidence you need if you don't practice, and practice a lot. Whenever Dana gives a talk or presentation, he practices. He says for hours. Dana wants to make sure he has the timing down, that he knows every slide so he doesn't have to read off them. He knows what the next slide is so he can smoothly transition between them so that he will sound natural and authentic, and can explain the concepts and tell the stories with confidence. And this all comes with practice. When you are practicing a presentation, it's not enough to sit in front of your computer and go through it. You have to practice it in front of other people. Invite some friends over and have them give some feedback on your presentation, and make improvements based on their feedback. No one gets it right the first time, but practice will get you towards perfect. With these 7 tips, you should be able to put together and deliver a masterful presentation that will wow your audience and make sure that they remember you and your topic. If you guys like this collaboration, be sure to check out Dana's YouTube channel and subscribe. He has tons of videos on entrepreneurship and self-development. I hope you guys liked this video and learned something, and if you did, click the like button, or if you haven't already, the subscribe button. Thanks so much, guys.
This brings me to the end of the presentation. Though the presentation, this is for the first time that I delivered a session on presentation skills while sitting. It doesn't happen, that you make your presentation while sitting. But since it was online and we had no choice, so I was little, anyways. And moreover, whatever we discussed yesterday about interview skills and today presentation skills, this is something that cannot be done in 2 sessions or 2 hours. It requires a great amount of work, working together, doing a lot of workshops, doing it in teams, because these are the skills which need hands-on. So unless you come together and work together, you'll not be able to. Hands-on is very much required in doing this. Interview, be it interview or presentations. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I hope I could make any sense to you, and there could be some takeaways from the session. Even if there were not so many takeaways, we'll make it a point the next time we do in a manner that you have a lot of takeaways.
really, really great session today. It was really a delightful virtual ride with all the videos. It was really clear what points you were trying to make. Now, I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Soanali Mishra. After that, we'll be open for questions.
Neha, thank you so much. Am I audible?
You are audible.
Am I audible? Yes. Okay.
You are audible.
Yeah. Okay. Now the thing is this: we have been here with you for 2 days and almost like 5 hours now, and we enjoyed it to a certain extent, not to the extent that the way we do in our offline sessions, because that's more of interactive, as what Dr. Vandana said. So, but then that's the best we can do these days. And I also would like, since we have been talking to Dr. Satyajit, the VC of the institution, I would also like Dr. Anirudh Mukherjee also and thank him to be a part of this whole session today, and would like to have his viewpoint and his words on the session. Dr. Anirudh Mukherjee, I guess you're there.
Ma'am, sir couldn't join due to some technical problems.
Okay.
So, yes.
So, okay, then there's just a thank you to him for that. And now there's since now the questions will be coming up from the audiences, then we can take other questions. Thank you so much on behalf of the team of Anhad, that you people have given us the opportunity to conduct these sessions. And I thank Mr. Chatterjee and Nehaji Apuri. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I thank both our guests. Thank you so much for introducing us all to the significant points, all in detail, that one should know for making the presentation effective, impactful, and impeccable. And I hope all of us will be able to focus on the 3 V's that you emphasized: visual, vocal, and verbal, to make our presentations better. The whole session, as I just said, ma'am, it was really delightful virtual ride. I thank our Chancellor Sir, Vice Chancellor Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Sir, Dean Sir, Provost Sir, and HOD Humanities, University of Engineering and Management, Jaipur. I extend my gratitude to Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Dr. Biswajay Chatterjee, and Dean Sir, Professor Dr. Anirudh Mukherjee. Professor Dr. Biswajay Chatterjee for handling our complete workshop technically, and with his presence, we have been able to conduct it successfully. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind support.
There are quite a few questions in the questions box. Will you have time, madam, to answer a few of those? Vandana, madam?
Yeah, sure.
So Neha, madam, before you do the needful of thanking of the thank, I will request this. I've requested madam to kindly answer a few questions. So I will just quickly try
Soanali
to
will
get
also join me in responding to certain questions.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yes, definitely. I'll just read those out. Okay, the first there, Survi Kumari, she had few questions like, why do leaders, one question, very simple, my basic question she has asked, why do leaders need to be effective communicators? In a normal circumstance, I would not have read out this question because it is too obvious, but because she is a student and she is just in her final year, and seeing the interviews for the first time, I thought that I should place this question in front of you.
Okay, great. What's her name?
Her name is Surabhi Kumari.
Okay, great, Surabhi. A very fundamental, but at the same time, very pertinent question. It's not only the leaders who are required to be good communicators, it's each one of us is required to be a good communicator, because it is the communication which is the lifeline and which keeps us connected with the world. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
You are audible.
Yeah. Okay. So the leaders are required to be, since your question was directed for leaders, so leaders are required to be they are only leaders. The first and foremost, the parameter of their success is, or you may say the first significant feature is being a good communicator or effective communicator. If they are not effective, if they are not able to communicate effectively with their team, they cannot become a leader. Because if you are a leader, then you have a followers. You can have followers once you are able to put across your message, your information, your whatever you think of, your thoughts to your people, and at the same time you are able to receive and sense, not only receive but sense the ideas and thoughts of other people. So the leader is required to be a communicator, an effective communicator, for lot many reasons. One, as I said, the fundamental thing is he has to communicate a lot, be it spoken communication, written communication. He has to communicate all the time. And Sonali would also agree with me that the leaders have to deliver, are constantly talking, are in communication with some or the other people. So if they are not able to reach out to their people, if they are not able to read the emotions of the people, they cannot have a very successful transaction at human level, at business level, professional level. So which is why, Sonali, would you like to say something about
Yeah,
this?
yeah. What I'm saying is this: when you talk about a leader, you're not talking about the leader of inanimate objects. You're of the people who are like the flesh and blood and soul people. So there's need to be a connection with them, and when you can't communicate well, you cannot connect well. And unless you can't connect well, it's difficult for you to stay in the position of leadership for long. Might be for once that people make you a leader for your charisma or your looks or your style or maybe your money also, but then it is not everlasting. You need to be a good communicator to connect with people, and when you connect with people, then only you stay as a leader in the eyes of all your followers. So it's just because it's a human connection that is more important.
So have we answered your question, Surbhi?
Has written something in the questions box. I'm not
Okay.
sure what is the source from. It would have been better if you would have mentioned the source, Survi. But still, I read it out because it's a two-way interaction. If communication is so critical, definitely as it is, so it appears so. Then why is it that, as per statistics, that communication in business is decreasing day by day? I don't know where from this source you have sourced this information, Surbi, but because it's an open platform. But I don't think I don't think we need to have the source of this information before it is getting
Right,
answered.
right, right,
So, madam,
right.
I think I can get on with the next question. Abhishek Das writes, Madam, I have one doubt. If at the time of the interview, the interviewer asks me a question which is confusing, then how
Mhm.
should I respond to that question?
Hmm. So if you, I don't remember the poser's name who posed this question. Yeah, dear candidate,
Abhishek Das.
whosoever. Huh?
Abhishek Das.
Okay, Abhishek Das. Now, if you find the question is unclear or which requires a clarity and you yourself are confused, so you have all the rights to ask, seek for clarification. Because unless you have a clarification, you will not be able to answer the question. Or to the maximum, what you can say, I would request, sir, if you can rephrase the question to bring some clarity. It is not clear to me what is it that is being asked in the question in a very polite manner, right? And which you can do with anybody, everybody, not only with the interviewer, but as an interviewee, you have all the rights to ask, seek for clarification. So once you have the clarification, I think then you'll be, once you understand the question, then you'll be able to answer the question very well, right? So because I couldn't understand, I couldn't get what was your question. It was just that you are confused. So definitely you go back and you ask them to rephrase to have clarity on the question. I think
Thank
I've
you.
answered the question.
Yes, yes, he has written yes. Okay, so thank you, he has written. Okay, so Aritra De, he is one of our bright students. He is writing, Madam, if we deliver a presentation in a job or in an interview, job interview, uh, okay, is picking up. What are you trying to say? Persuasion will be helpful. No,
Mhm.
persuasion means doing something through reasoning or argument. Arithro, I think you can slightly reframe your question, but madam, if you have got it, what he is trying to say, then you may kindly answer.
So, if you are required, if it is a part of your process, the company process, wherein you are supposed to make or deliver a presentation, then in that case, either you are given a topic, or even if you are left free to choose a topic on your own, then you have got all the choice, the ball is in your court. You can choose a topic which has got lot of relevance with the job, with the company organization, because that would be, you would be talking something which is very relatable and they are able to identify with that, and they would be very happy that you brought in an issue which has got a very high connection and related to the company people. So in that case, what you can do, you can choose something which is related to their area, their subject, and you are also confident of that. Don't choose anything which you feel that would leave a strong impression on. Don't do that, because don't put yourself in a tricky situation. Pick up something which is a win-win kind of situation. They are also happy and you are also happy. Now, the second point that I could gather from your question was, if you want to use these elements of persuasion in your presentation, as I said, always have these elements of persuasion in your.
Okay, so I think there is a power problem at her place. I'm sure about that. Screen has gone dark. So am I audible to all of you? Attendees, if you can kindly mention whether I am audible or not. Okay, so okay, I'm not sure whether. Okay, so should we wait a little while? Okay, Neha madam, are you there?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so you can kindly switch on your webcam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
I think you need to end the session because it has suddenly abruptly been ended because of a power problem, I believe. So you may kindly switch on your webcam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you,
And
sir.
then you may kindly conclude the session then. Thank you to
Yes.
all the audiences, all the listeners, and I leave it to you for ending the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir, for handling our complete session, although there were too many glitches because of the technical problems. But I hope and I think that it was fruitful for all the students, as our students are really working hard to get jobs and internships in this pandemic also. So this would have been a really fruitful session for them. I thank our Dean, sir, all the faculty members of Department of Humanities. We cannot thank our Dean Academics, Professor Anirudh Mukherjee, enough for his continuous support all throughout. Due to certain technical problems, he could not join this webinar today, but I would like to mention here that without his support, we wouldn't have come this far. He motivates us, he taught us not only how to teach in class, but also how to be good managers. Thanks a lot to you, sir. And I thank our Vice Chancellor again and again for being there from the day one since we have done the test for webinar with Vandana ma'am. Our Department of Humanities cannot thank enough our Vice Chancellor, sir, our Chancellor, sir, our Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, everyone in the participants, all the attendees for attending this session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for having the patience and listening to all what Vandana ma'am and Soanali ma'am had to say. Thank you so much.
And I thank all the question makers, though we could not answer all your questions because it abruptly ended because of power problem at a place. But Mr. Saurav Mukherjee, he posed a question. Abhishek Sen, Aritra De. I'm just trying to read out all the people who asked many. Aritra had many questions in the question panel, but sorry, all your questions could not be answered. You will get a certificate. Sri Hariji asked whether there is certificate. Yes, you will be getting a certificate. Sohini Datta, she asked a question. Harsh Kumar, Shilbhadra Das, Ayush Pallab Gupta, Swarnava Banerjee, Arindam Banerjee, Rituparna Gupta, Ayush Bhalla, Madhusudan Vaidya, Dr. Snehalata Dhaka, Sudeep Bishwas, Dr. Lata Rani, Aritra De again, Anik Pramanik, Shumit Ghosh, Naveen Agarwal, Medha Bhattacharya, Dolon Champa Das, Anupam Mandal, Soumya Banu, Anik Saha, K. Saranna, Arindam Banerjee again, and so many others. I hope I've tried to read out all the names who asked a question, but definitely I've missed out many because this is a flood of questions in the question panel. Thanks to all of you, and I hope everybody learned a lot from this. At least I learned many things. Thank you, and we will meet soon. This pandemic will end soon. We will definitely meet very soon. Thank you, students, the entire audience. Thank you, Neha madam, for conducting this. Thank you. And thank you, Snehalata madam also. Thank you. So we are ending the webinar.